Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Get early access to all of our interviews, including the monthly Chichester chats with writer and comic book legend D.G. Chichester, new episodes of classic Capes and Lunatics shows, including The Quantum Zone, This, That, or the Third, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes, or go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics. Hope to see you there.
This is Comics Illustrator Ron Friends, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
All right, kids, welcome back. It's going to be The Crossing Part 5. No, I'm just kidding. Come back, come back. But it is a new episode of Marvel Tales. Of course, with myself, Phil, and joining me as always, that man himself. No X in it. It is.
Justin the Owl swooping back on in.
That's right, kids. And of course, Justin insisted on joining the fun of Miller May. So yes, this week and next week we will be doing some Miller work. Tonight we will be covering Wolverine, the original Wolverine miniseries, 1 through 4 from I believe 1982.
Yeah, the original classic.
Claremont and Miller production.
Yeah, back when he had the brown costume.
And he was the best there is at what he does, and what he does isn't pretty.
Right. What he does isn't pretty.
Oh, Russell's already here.
Hey, Russell.
No Namor this time.
No, not this time. We will be covering some Namor later in the year, though.
Oh, yeah.
Try on the schedule.
Trust me, he's never far away from this show, Russell. Don't worry.
That's right.
I don't need him losing his concentration every episode.
Right.
Back when both Claremont and Miller were sane. I mean, I don't want to say Claremont went insane. I don't know, but
yeah, I don't think Claremont went off the rails. No, but Frank definitely had his trips around the moon.
Oh yeah, I mean,
sure.
I don't know if Claremont just lost touch with what was, I don't know, just the what's sold at the time, and he comes back now. It's just like, okay.
Well, plus he had been doing it for so long. Like writing an X-Men book for 20 years is like. That's got to be mind-boggling.
I know. It might be like he might have used all his ideas for Russell's. Like, you guys haven't seen his recent panels, then? No,
no, we haven't. No, I'll have to check out some new Chris Claremont. It's been a while.
Is he another one in the school of Frank Miller?
Oh, I don't know.
Does he share his views?
Your mother's a whore. Our whole family can suck it.
But no, I was just.
We'll have to dig into that. I don't know.
Yeah, not this last weekend, but the one before. Me and my son, one of the stores did like a small not even a convention, just like a little thing in the mall, like a local mall, like
a pop up.
Yeah, where like a bunch of different vendors showed up and were selling old comics. Like, I found a bunch of 80s comics. Like I grabbed like a bunch of Superman and stuff, and I didn't even notice. I just grabbed an old issue Green Lantern. I didn't have it. It's not until I got home I realized it was $169.
Oh wow, very nice.
I know. I was like,
wow,
the gods in Little Hellfire were looking over upon me.
Yeah. What year was that one?
That might have been like an 82 or something. It was, yeah.
Well, they have to have been 80s, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That original one, yeah. But
that's a good find.
Yeah, but it just hit me because it's like, well, while we were there, I mean, we already had this episode planned, but I saw someone was selling like the complete like 4-issue miniseries, like the original issues of this Wolverine miniseries. I think they want like $275. I mean,
oh my god,
they must have been in pretty good condition. But I was just like, wow,
yikes! Yeah, I actually, after we selected this, I looked online just to see how much it was going for. Yeah, it's way up there. Yeah, it's
what?
Crazy.
Russell, I-69 to tube of Reese's ice cream. What does that mean? It was touching your mouth and something else, Russell?
pictures or it didn't happen, Russell.
He's the best there is at what he does.
That's right. And what he does ain't nice.
The Joker nugget. What, you were tickling the Joker nuggets? What?
Where's the Joker nuggets?
Don't be saying that, Russell. I mean, I'm gonna have to do something and alienate like half my audience.
Batman, my favorite character.
Yeah.
Ray, listen back to this. Be like, I did nothing. What?
The chance is never zero, Ray.
Exactly. Oh, me and Will were covering Green Lantern Rebirth next week. I said, Ray, you should read it and send in feedback because I know there's at least one page he'll send feedback on is how Jordan decks Batman.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
I'm like,
it's going to be one of his favorite panels ever.
I told Will on our last episode, I said, a 6-issue miniseries, if Ray does send feedback, it'll be like 10 minutes on that one page.
Yes, yeah. Going over all the different artistic virtues of the panel.
Oh, yes. No, I didn't listen to it. Russell, did you listen to our guest spot on ITK? Ray had to beep so many Batmans. Oh, I love going on there and saying Batman.
Yes.
I love going on and going, Batman, Batman, Batman.
Yeah, he hit the beep button several times in a row. It was fantastic.
And I'm still pushing him. I said, he claims that, it's all of you guys, but it's Ray. I'm like, when are we doing that Batman Predator crossover? Anyway.
Oh, yes. Yep. We have that on the schedule at some point for our Predator and Prey show.
Because like I said, we can do a crossover with our Batman show. Maybe
absolutely.
That way we can drag Lilith Hellfire into there too.
Yeah, I would love to hear her comments, especially on the second one with Huntress, the Doug Mensch one.
Ray has been lying to you. He pulled a DC series with Batman. I know. Well, these foreigners, they don't understand our freedom of speech and stuff here. America! That's right. In this country, we are free to talk about Batman whenever we want.
That's right.
In any forum. We will
Even
not
on a Marvel show.
That's right. This is a Marvel show. But yes, Ray.
Yes.
Ray, we are proud Americans. We will talk about Batman anywhere. America.
That's right.
All right. America. All right. So should we get to these Wolverine issues, which is the reason we're here? All right.
Yes.
So yes, kids, if you're not familiar with Miller May, yes, we are every episode of Miller May, we cover something either written, drawn, or both by Mr. Frank Miller. So yes, we are looking for some Marvel content here. So Justin and I are like, we have to cover the Wolverine miniseries.
Yeah. That was definitely at the top of the list.
But I'm just wondering if those issues were in good quality. Say they wanted like $275 for the whole set. I'm thinking, it's probably because it's like, it's Wolverine's first ongoing. Well, it wasn't an ongoing, but it's Wolverine's first solo series and stuff. So,
and plus it's Miller. I don't think did Miller do any other Wolverine stuff beyond this?
He might have drawn Wolverine. I know Wolverine showed up in like a random issue of Daredevil. I think it was during Miller's run, so that might have been like the only other place because I don't think he drew the X-Men, did he? Unless he just did some kind of one-off or something.
I think he did a bunch of covers and maybe he did a couple of fill-ins, but I think as far as like regular like a mini-series or something like that, this was the only time that he did.
Yeah.
Wolverine one, so I think that's another reason that it's so high up there. It was the only one that he did, and I have the this collection. It's a trade paperback that has the 4 issues in it, plus the Uncanny X-Men 172 and 173, which kind of pick up right after this miniseries. And there's an introduction by Chris Claremont in it, and he said. He wrote this in 1987. He said, now, if there was only some way of persuading Frank to do it again. So maybe he had been trying to get Frank to do another Wolverine miniseries or something like a follow-up to this, and it just never happened.
Maybe Frank was just done with either Marvel and DC were done with Frank or he was done with them. He's like, they won't let me put enough sex and violence in,
That's right.
Well, I mean, as of what was that, early mid-2000s, I mean, Lilith and I are covering in couple issue chunks All-Star Batman and Robin, so I mean, that's probably one, That and his many sequels to Dark Knight Returns.
Yes. Yeah.
Probably his last works for the big two.
Yeah. Yeah. When did you do Sin City? I was trying to think of that earlier. I want to say that was 90s, but it felt like it could have been late 80s too.
Because it had probably been out a while when they did that movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had been a while. But I couldn't remember exactly when
Yeah, I
it
can't
came out.
remember either. All right, let's get into this. Wolverine. There's a lot to unpack here. Wolverine number 1. Well, it says Volume 1, number 1 from September 1982. Title: I'm Wolverine.
Wolverine.
I am Wolverine. All right, writer Chris Claremont. So yes, he knew what was going on with Wolverine at the time.
Yeah.
And of course, the reason we're here, kids, penciler, Mr. Frank.
Your mother's a whore!
Miller. Inker Joseph Rubinstein, colors Glennis Ween, letterer Tom Orzechowski, and editor Louise Jones. I was waiting for it to say Simonson. I was like, Louise? Oh, Jones. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Where's there we go. Wolverine hunts for a bear in the Canadian Rockies. Shouldn't that say Justin? Justin's like, don't be ridiculous. I don't go to the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, right.
Or no, Canadian Rockies. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's too cold.
Okay, love. Which had an arrow stuck in its back, making it turn crazy and kill at least 15 people. With the bear taken care of, Wolverine tracks the scent of the arrow back to its tracker and puts him on trial. Yeah, here's the judge, here's the jury.
Yeah, that's right.
Schnick.
It's a pretty quick trial.
Wolverine tries calling Mariko Yashida, but her family hangs up on him. Wolverine flies to the Clan Yashida ancestral stronghold in Japan and finds Mariko in the gardens beneath a statue of Buddha, concealing her face. At Wolverine's insistence, she reveals her bruised face, which Wolverine deduces came from her husband, Noboru Hideki. Mariko explains that she had to change commitments upon her father's return. Mariko's husband shows up, and Wolverine intends upon killing him until Mariko averts the bloodshed. Wolverine prepares to fly to New York, but he gets ambushed by poisoned Shrinkins. Wolverine wakes up to find himself in the captivity of Lord Shingen, who challenges Wolverine to a duel with him to prove his worthiness to Mariko. They fight with wooden swords, and Lord Shingen cheats during the battle by kicking Wolverine, who retaliates by drawing his claws. Due to his recent poisoning, though, Wolverine has trouble making contact with the Elder, who ultimately wins the battle. Wolverine finds himself abandoned in Tokyo, surrounded by a mob. Yuko kills them all and picks Wolverine off the ground. So, yes, we go hunting for a bear, then we go hunting for a guy who goes after a bear. Okay, and I get the whole arranged marriage thing. I mean, it does happen in certain parts of the world, but I'm just like, I'm like, I don't know. He's only drawing this thing, but that smells of a Frank Miller plot to me if I've ever heard one.
It really does, yeah. Yeah. And there's in later issues too, there's some stuff that I was like, ooh, I wonder if Frank was whispering some stuff in Chris Claremont's ear here about, no, you should have this happen.
I mean, Chris Claremont might have, maybe Chris Claremont might have appreciated any help because, I mean, he was writing the main X book at the time, so he's like, oh yeah, you want to help me with this miniseries? Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Do you have any notes for me, Frank?
Your mother's a whore!
Well, I think Frank knows his fair share about Japanese culture too. I think.
So really?
Yeah, I think so. He might have helped out in some details.
Oh yeah, I mean, he's all about the ninjas. I mean, with the hand of Daredevil and stuff. Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, I think he's done his homework.
Yeah,
but it's not everyone who can write ninjas. It takes a certain skill set. Yes.
If you're not D.G. Chichester, you can't write ninjas.
That is true. Words of wisdom right there.
Stay tuned for upcoming Chichester Tats sometime this year, because I think he actually has like a creator-owned thing coming finally. So
yeah, he's got a new thing coming out. Yeah,
we're all excited. I was like, man, we're gonna have new stuff to talk to him about. Like new work. So I was like, yes,
yeah, it's exciting. I love it.
All right.
This first issue was good, but like the duel with Shingen, I was like with the wooden swords. I thought, well, where's the real threat here? Because no matter what he does, we know that he's not going to kill Wolverine with this wooden sword.
Yeah, but I guess the whole thing is just like, oh, he lost this woman he loves forever.
Yeah, his honor is destroyed. Like it was more of a symbolic defeat than a literal one. Yeah, I get it, but I don't know.
I just love the healing factor. It's like, sometimes it's super effective, and other times it's like, I've been poisoned, and
yeah,
that is such a Claremont trope. It's like he always has Wolverine's like healing factor on the fritz, like I'd say 75% of the time.
Because if you notice in each of these 4 issues, there's a brief little caption that explains about his healing factor for people that are reading this for the first time, perhaps, and his claws and his adamantium bones. Like there's a caption that explains both of those things in the beginning of each of these 4 issues. And it also explains how his healing factor is a deterrent to poison and disease. And yet still, Shingen is able to poison his ass and club him like a rented stepchild with this wooden sword for about half an hour. These people are dueling in this hall. And I'm like, what are you doing?
I know. Again, it's like that healing factor is only as good as like the writer wants it to, well, as much as Claremont wants it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it was? It was the jet lag.
Oh, yes. Yes.
It was the jet lag because he was going from Alaska to Tokyo, man.
My mutant healing factor can handle poison, but not jet lag.
That's right.
Damn Delta, just that slow.
Yeah. The scourge of the earth.
That taste is so in my mouth.
Yeah. But yeah, lots of setup here. I mean, I'm like, why did we get the bear thing? But I guess it's just like, oh, hey, like he's doing something before this whole thing happens. But
well, explain too what he was doing off by himself in the wilderness, I guess. Yeah.
I know, it's like we don't get to see the X-Men until like the last page of the last issue. It's basically like that was another staple of like, especially to, later on in like Claremont's run, like post 200. It's like, yeah, Wolverine will just disappear for like months at a time and stuff.
Just gone, completely gone. Yeah, I love it.
It's like, well, where are we at? None of your business.
Yeah. Don't ask. And then it will have a little asterisk. For details of what happened to Wolverine, read blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah. Especially once his ongoing starts, and it's just like, check out the Wolverine's adventures every month in Madripoor or something. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
As Patch.
Which we'll eventually cover some of that, too.
Oh, yeah.
Madripoor with the John Buscema. Oh, man. That's some of my favorite stuff.
Yeah, we'll have to cover some Wolverine. And I was thinking maybe next year, maybe we'll have to do like an X event month when we do like some of the big events like Fall of the Mutants, Extinction Agenda, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, Executioner Song.
We might need a couple episodes for that. What's that, 18 parts or something? That'll be a month for it. That'll be another crossing,
Oh, yeah, definitely. We would need a month for that. I think that was the one with the hologram covers, too, wasn't it?
Was it the hologram? I can't remember.
Or maybe that was
was that the one with the trading cards?
Yes, it was the trading cards.
Yeah.
Yes. Executioner Song was the trading cards.
Strife.
Well, yeah. Strife. Strife and Cable. Yeah. Oh, man, the 90s.
Cable. I have a new superhero for the 90s. I call him Satellite Dish.
Comcast.
Who's that man with the giant gun and 1,000 pouches? That's DirecTV. Like I said, I heard a rumor that's like, but before they came up with the name Cable, that like one of the possibilities on the table was Commander X.
Oh,
In that light, I'm like,
nice.
okay, Cable's not so bad.
Yeah. Commando X, I love it.
No,
Commander
X.
Commander X. There should be a Commander X.
I mean, Commando might have been a little better, but no.
Yeah. Well, that was the era of Arnold Schwarzenegger, too, I think. Was
Oh, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, they were trying to tap into that. I love it.
Get to the past.
Yeah. I'm here. Kill me.
I mean, basically the Terminator coming back from the future. I mean,
Totally, yeah. Come with me if you want to live.
although look who created him. I mean, at least Arnold Schwarzenegger has, I would assume, proportionate feet. So
Yes, yeah. And he doesn't need all those pouches. Come on now.
so his pouches.
It's in his prison purse.
All right. So should we get to issue 2?
Yes. I love issue 2.
Well, what the heck? I clicked on something and it was. All right. So Wolverine number 2 from October 1982. Debts and Obligations. Looks like the same team. So yes, kids. Now, never forget, never forget, never forgive. Yes, remember, still penciled by Frank
Your mother's a whore!
Miller.
And he is in full effect in this miniseries.
Yuriko wakes Wolverine to find the Hand attacking them. Wolverine knocks them out of the window and meets more of the Hand's reinforcements. Yuriko gets separated from Wolverine, but she holds her own in the battle. With the Hand defeated, Yuriko and Wolverine go to his hotel. Yuriko is surprised that all of his battle wounds have healed. Wolverine offers her protection from the Hand, but she declines, making it clear she can fight for herself. Okay, so yeah, poison stays in his system for a while. Samurai sword cuts. Minutes are gone.
Yeah. How convenient.
Later, Yuriko and Lord Shingen start discussing her and Wolverine's previous encounter with the Hand when a Hand member attacks Yuriko. She disarms the Hand member, and Lord Shingen asks why she does not kill him. Yuriko replies that the memory of his defeat would be worse than mercifully killing him. Yuriko inquires why Lord Shingen ordered the Hand to actually kill her while it was supposed to be a deception. Lord Shingen says Wolverine would know the difference between sham and reality. Wolverine and Yuriko then infiltrate Lord Yingsen's peace conference with rival crime lord Katsuori. To Wolverine's surprise, he finds Mariko at the meeting. They watch the play Chashinguara, and in the final act, the ninja take aim at Mariko. Wolverine jumps in to save her, and the ninja switches targets to him instead. Wolverine and the ninja actors battle until Wolverine arises as champion. Meanwhile, Yuriko assassinates Katsuori and his wife. Mariko stares at the scene in shock before running away, much to Yuriko's satisfaction. She knew he's the best at what he does, but she's never seen until now how not pretty it is.
Yeah, she got to witness it firsthand, and she didn't like it.
So what do you think? I mean, I'm like for Wolverine's first like solo adventure, kind of. I'm just like, okay. I mean,
I love this one because in the beginning there's that fantastic fight with the ninjas.
Yes,
there's that gorgeous 2-page spread where they're just going across the rooftops. It's phenomenal.
Yes,
I love that. The first time I saw that, I just stared at it. I was like, God, this is gorgeous. I'd love to put this on my wall somewhere, actually. But also, there's a little bit of foreshadowing in this issue, which I really liked. When Yuriko's talking to Logan in his hotel, she goes,
"Oh yeah,
your claws." She's like, "Those magnificent claws, Wolverine. Could I acquire them? I would give my soul to be like you." And of course, we realized later on that did in fact happen. She did get her own set of claws when she becomes Lady Deathstrike.
Oh yeah, I read that. I was like, they were planting that seeds early. I was like, what, you think they planned that, or did Claremont plan that, or was he's like, oh hey, well, this was in the story. Let's pay that off.
Well, I read this after I first read Lady Deathstrike's first appearance. I hadn't read this story first, so I went back and reread this, and I was like, oh, I wonder if maybe he did intend for her to be Lady Deathstrike right off the bat, because there was that comment in the second issue. So maybe that was the plan, to have like a female Wolverine-esque character.
No, I was just looking this up when you said you wanted like that on your page on your wall. I was looking to see if Frank Miller does commissions.
Oh,
for blank covers, I guess if you go to, maybe if you meet him at a con, on blank sketch covers for a head sketch, it's $650.
Oh my!
And for a full figure sketch, it's $1,250.
Oh my!
Yeah, so I can imagine if you wanted something to like hang on the wall. Oh, that's not a comical cover.
No, I would take just a color reproduction. Thank you very much.
Oh, there you go. Where's your printer? Kinko's.
Exactly. But I also like the action in this issue. There's some later on when they go to the wedding party, and there's that big fight too. I love that. It's great.
Yeah, I wasn't sure at first if I'm like, I don't know, first solo adventure, the whole we're really sunk in the Japanese underworld, but I mean it works.
Yeah, if it had been any other character other than Wolverine in this setting, I don't think it would have worked as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think it fits well.
This is pre-patch days,
right? And still, he was kind of a blank slate back then. Like, we didn't know a whole lot about his origin, so for all we knew, sure, he had spent a whole ton of time in Japan and mastered their language and all this other stuff.
Oh, that's another one we'll have to cover one day. Origin.
Yeah.
So do you like that? Do you like that we know more about Wolverine's origin now, or should they have just like kept that mysterious?
I don't know. I think I always like the less is more approach. I think that they've done a little bit too much deep diving into his past. I feel like they should have left a little bit more mystery.
I think that's like a modern thing where it's like you have to find out all this with prequels and everything. You have to find out everything about everybody's background and stuff. I mean, there's some characters, it's fine not to know their origins. Like, if they had not given us a Wolverine origin, that would have been fine with me. The Joker did not give me his origin, you know.
Yeah, like over at DC, Phantom Stranger. Like, I'm fine if we never know who that dude is, ever. Like Doctor Who, like, I'm fine if we never know the origins of Doctor Who. Like, there's some characters, like, just leave it. Yeah, it's best if the imagination just fills in the rest.
I mean, like with the Joker, it's like the more you flesh out his background, the less like in like a force of nature he feels like you know, like he's chaos personified.
Exactly. The less scary he is, too.
Exactly.
Like in the first Halloween movie, like, you don't know why this kid killed his sister. He just did it. He just snapped all of a sudden. And that's infinitely more scary than, oh, he grew up in a screwy environment and his parents were destitute deadbeats that didn't know how to raise him and they beat him and all this stuff. You know, it's better if there's no explanation, I think.
You said the original Halloween movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I was mad he got a defective William Shatner mask.
Yeah, there was too much hair on it.
Oh my God. Somebody, I saw something, a post one time, and it's like, I don't know what show it was, like Shatner on like an old like 70s show, I don't know which one it was, but
game show.
But he was wearing like overalls or something, or like a thing in there, like you can't tell me that's not a Halloween prequel right there.
He was doing TJ Hooker, probably.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
Hooker.
TJ Hooker. Your mother's a hooker!
Your mother's a whore!
I mean, it's not written by Frank Miller. I'm trying to see if, even when he's just drawing it, I try to see if there's any Frank Miller influences here. I mean, we do have a female villain, trying to seduce Wolverine with that.
Yes.
Superior puss.
Using her feminine wiles, and she's extremely capable and extremely deadly and extremely attractive.
Loves that adamant. Is that adamantium, or are you just happy to see me?
How many hours of sleep do you need with your healing factor, Wolverine?
Oh, he might be able to recover quickly from,
Yeah. No wonder she was obsessed with him.
Schnicked. All right. Let's get to issue 3 here. Wolverine number 3 from November 19th.
We should comment that all these covers are fantastic.
Oh, yeah. I was just looking at this one with him just down on his knees and stuff. Yeah.
They're all great.
But again, that first one is just iconic with him standing there with the claws and stuff. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
You see that image all over the place. The Wolverine 3, November 1982. Loss. Once again, same creative team, kids. No one's going on.
Your mother's a whore!
At a bar in Tokyo, Wolverine wrestles a man named Takahashi and lifts him over his head. When the man punches Wolverine in the face, Wolverine throws him out the window. So a little Hellfire Saturday night, kid.
Not in the face!
Wolverine joins his new girlfriend, Yuiko. So they're kind of, sort of, maybe official. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I never thought he really agreed to that. It's like you can hang out, but yeah.
They're friends with benefits.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I took it. That they're just kind of banging on the side.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
As they go outside and meet Asano Kimura, Asano asks Wolverine for help in a Japanese underworld takeover, but Wolverine turns him down flat. Yuiko takes Logan to some train tracks and they start making out.
So romantic.
That's not what I meant by pulling a train. That's right. Dick jokes, kids. I'm the best there is at what I do, and what I do isn't pretty. All right, I got the new tagline, love. Dick joke, salty and petty. We're the best. We're the best there is at what we do, and what we do isn't pretty. Lilith Hellfire created this monster, kids. I'll tell you that. All right.
I love it.
Despite being drunk, Logan notices. I was gonna say, despite being drunk, what? Well, he can still do what? Despite being drunk. Despite being drunk, Logan notices something is wrong and realizes a bullet train is approaching and jumps off the tracks carrying Yuiko. Wolverine questions Yuiko's insanity, but she says that when she dies, she wishes to die spectacularly. So yeah, she ain't right in the head. Soon, Logan falls asleep and dreams that he is a medieval warrior approaching the Clan Yashida fortress, where guards attack him with a barrage of arrows. The last arrow comes from his former love, Mariko, which pierces his soul. Don't have to be Freud to know what that dream means.
Yeah. Ooh.
While Wolverine dreams this, members of the Hand go to Yuiko to kill Wolverine in accordance with her agreement with Lord Shingen. She takes out her blades to presumably cut out Wolverine's heart, but instead uses them to fight the Hand members. Yuriko tries to wake Wolverine up, but instead he mumbles, Mariko. Frustrated, she kicks Wolverine in the face and leaves.
Not in the face!
I'm just reading the synopsis, and just out of the corner of my eye, I see it says Hand members, and like the first thing that registered in my brain was
the Hard Master.
Yes. There were a couple of times that when I was reading this and I saw Hand and I was like, oh.
The Hard Master.
Australia's deadliest warrior.
The Hard Master.
The deadliest ninja in Australia.
The Hard Master.
Focuses his mind into a perfect mode for combat.
Sex on the mind.
What the F?
Tantric martial arts.
Go ahead, throw it in.
Tantric martial arts.
Sausage. Gobble gobble.
Oh, tantric. Okay, I got you.
Rumpy pumpy.
He's like,
The
what?
horizontal mambo.
Bubble boo boo.
And his weapon?
The big bazooka.
All right. Later, Wolverine wakes up and goes back to the hotel. He finds the corpse of Asano and sniffs the scent on the knife. He learns that Yuriko was the one who ambushed him when he arrived in Japan and uncovers her deception. Yuriko runs and Wolverine chases her through the rooftops of the city until he brings down Yuriko with her own weapon. Yuriko lands in the Zen gardens of Kyoto and Wolverine prepares to kill her. She says that since they both love each other, killing her would be to kill himself. Although he realizes the truthfulness of her words, Wolverine decides to kill her anyway. However,
The hell with it.
Exactly. However, the Hand ambushes him and Wolverine has to deal with them instead. In the ensuing battle, Yuriko escapes and Wolverine notices some of the dead Hand members have her spikes in them. Wolverine examines the Zen gardens and makes peace with himself, resolving to seek revenge on Shingen. So he had his fling, he had his rebound. Now I wonder what's going to happen next issue.
The conclusion.
So
Yeah, what'd you think of this one, Phil?
it's interesting. I mean, I guess yes, just like any man, yes, he does have his weakness.
Well, you know. Well, he was all excited. He was going to see Mariko, and then
Yeah.
he got cock-blocked by your dad.
She freaks out. She sees him popping his claws and like stabbing guys.
Yeah. You know, minor details.
Oh yeah, I didn't tell you I was like created to be like a human weapon. Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't know about that little detail? I'm kind of a mutant cyborg. I wondered, going back and rereading this, I was like, I wonder if in alternate reality, like that Logan and Yukio actually stayed together. Became a couple.
There you
Like,
go.
could you imagine, like, if they actually hooked up and she started bringing more of the crazy out in him?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Does he bring her up or does she bring him down?
Right, yeah. And then the part, like, on the train tracks, too, where he was talking about how he was drunk. I was like, with that healing factor, like, Logan would have had to have drank so much sake to be
Oh, yeah.
that drunk. But then I was thinking about the times that I've drank sake, and I thought, yeah, he wouldn't have had to drink that much, actually.
Oh, it's that strong?
Yeah, that's pretty strong stuff, yeah.
I was,
Staggering around.
yeah, with that healing factor, I was going to say, could you just see him on a page with an IV in him, you know, just putting alcohol in that way?
Just mainline it.
Just mainline the alcohol, aka the little Hellfire method.
I love to sleep and drink. Scream it!
Mainlining alcohol and something else.
Am I supposed to take my medicine soon?
And speaking of ninja battles,
Eyeballs and penises. I hold them in my hand. Be gentle with me.
Oh wait, there's an old one. It's been a while since I played this.
Pickle.
Oh, yeah, that is an old one.
Pickle. I haven't played that in a while.
Pickle. Go ahead, throw it in.
There's so many. I haven't played some of those in a while. Oh, does anyone remember this classic?
Party in the front and the back. I need it bigger. Suck it. Caring for another human being that isn't myself.
I feel like that one needs to be used more.
That was one of my favorites for a while. That's one of the early ones.
Caring for another human being that isn't myself. That's an awfully big rod he's got there.
All right. So
I liked your idea when you were talking with Lilith earlier about doing the drop battle. About doing the contest. Because there's some great Charlie Esser drops too, like the one about what's it? Think about your wife. Do something for your wife.
Oh, give your wife something. Yeah.
Give your wife something. Yeah. Yeah. That one could be a contender for one of the best ones.
Oh, you got something else down there.
Oh, no, that's not that one. Here's.
Give your wife something.
Yeah, that one. Give your wife something.
Okay, let's actually do the podcast that we get paid nothing for.
But I like that idea about the drop.
Oh, yeah. I gotta do that. Oh, well, Capes 300 is coming up. I'm gonna have to do something.
Yeah.
Kids, I need thoughts for Capes 300.
Yeah.
All right, so.
Because it was, bitches.
All right. Let's get the Wolverine 4 so we can talk this whole series. All right. Hold on. Find the link here. I'm getting all choked up. Oh yeah, because in this it tells you what the next issue is. So yeah, after issue 4 it says next issue Uncanny X-Men 172. So yeah, was that the wedding?
Use the story. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, person with that. Oh, this cover. Him holding a crossbow in one hand and lighting his cigar with the other.
Yeah, I love it. Such a Miller cover.
I know. So, if there was any more Miller, it'd be holes on the cover.
Your mother's a whore!
With fishnets.
Or an electric costume. It's all flapping in the breeze. Frank Miller, it's all flapping in the breeze and...
Your mother's a whore!
All right, Wolverine number 4, cover date, December 1982. Honor. And of course, same creative team, kids.
Your mother's a whore!
For some reason, kids, I think that drop is gonna outlast Miller May, kids. So.
I think it is too. I hope it does.
I know. At some point, Lil's going to be like, "Play the drop." Which one? The Frank Miller drop. The Frank Miller drop. Okay.
The Frank one.
Wolverine stalks 2 drug dealers working for Lord Shingen. Wolverine interrupts their illegal transaction and tells them to inform their boss that Wolverine is coming for them. Hail. Wolverine continues ripping apart Lord Shingen's organization. He ain't done enough of that this episode. At the ancestral seat of Clan Yoshida, Lord Shingen tells his advisors that since he has assigned his finest ninja to kill Wolverine, they need not worry. However, a messenger brings Lord Shingen a box containing ninja hoods and a note saying, "Tonight." Shingen tells his advisors to summon the Hand and decides to stay and face Wolverine with honor. Armed with ninja weapons, Wolverine prepares to confront Lord Shingen. Meanwhile, in the family history room of the Clan Yoshida, Mariko Yoshida wonders how she should deal with her evil father. She considers killing him, but realizes that by destroying him, she would also destroy herself. Well, get that boyfriend back in here. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, have him do it.
Yuriko tries to sneak into the stronghold, but the Hand soon capture her. With Yuriko in captivity, Shingen frees her and humiliates her in battle in front of Mariko, who attempts to stop her father. Shingen gets a message from the radio, but it is suddenly cut off. Realizing Wolverine has arrived, Shingen prepares to face him while Noboru Hideki takes Mariko to escape on a helicopter. They run into Wolverine and Noboru Hideki tries to gun him down, but Yuriko kills the crime lord. After a brief kiss, Yuriko leaves and Wolverine lets her go. I love it's like the message from the radio suddenly cuts off. Well, that ain't the only thing getting cut off tonight, kids. Lord Shingen and Wolverine face each other. Shingen wielding the honor sword of Clan Yoshida and Wolverine his claws. They charge at each other and Shingen draws more blood at the first strike. Wolverine continues taking slices from the Shingen until he strikes the crime boss in the back. Wolverine dodges the next strike and slices the head of the blade with his claws. Shingen draws more blood from Wolverine and dodges Wolverine's attack. Shingen strikes his sword on Wolverine's shoulder, who grabs it with one hand and impales his claws into Shingen's face with the other.
Yeah, right in the face.
Ah!
Not in the face.
It's so salty.
Oh!
Cut you, bro. You hit him right in the face with that sack.
Thank you, Love Hellfire.
I'm 12 when you need me to be 12.
Quietly, Mariko enters the scene and picks up the honor sword. She offers it to Wolverine for restoring Clan Yoshida's honor from the shame that her father brought to it. Wolverine accepts the sword and they embrace. Later, at the Xavier Institute, the rest of the X-Men read an invitation to Wolverine and Mariko's wedding. I think he said months later.
Months later.
Wow. So they had months of
What were
reconciliation. They had months of
What were they
reconciliation.
doing that whole time?
I know, they say, what, they went up in the mountains or something? It's like, yeah, they took a month to reconcile.
Oh, my. Ooh.
That healing factor
Yeah.
does work, kids.
Yeah. Well, they had a lot of lost time to make up for, you know.
Well, yeah, I guess, how you going to have a wedding when she can't walk right for weeks?
Yeah, right. We need at least a month before she gets that attraction.
Unbreakable bones, kids.
Oh, poor Mariko.
But yeah, I keep coming up with X-Men stories. Yeah, we should cover the wedding, those ones. So we do that follow-up at some point, so.
Yeah, those two issues are really good.
Yeah.
It has the Silver Samurai and the Viper in it, which is cool.
Oh, yeah, there's so much just from Claremont's run we should get to one day, like that, Days of Future Past.
Days of Future Past, definitely. Fall of the Mutants.
Like when Rogue joins the team.
Yeah. Inferno.
Oh, yeah.
We could do some.
Oh, that's
Inferno.
that's going to be on the event list. Yeah, yeah, the X-Men event list.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what X-Men, X-Factor, New Mutants. Yeah,
New Mutants. Yeah, yeah, and a little Excalibur too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and when the X-Men hide, go through the Siege Perilous and then hide out in that hive of scum and villainy, Australia.
Oh my god! I loved those years.
I know. As a kid reading those, for the longest time, I thought all of Australia looked like the Outback. I was like, there's like nothing down there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Bray's probably like, my house is just like yours. Except the spiders are like this big.
Right.
And it's 90 degrees at Christmas.
Yeah. All the time.
All right. So, what did you think of this? What do you think of this, Justin? Was this a worthy first solo for Wolverine?
I think so. Yeah. It's tough because I never really felt like he was in any danger in any of these issues. I never felt like the Hand or Shingen or Yukio or any of these people were ever going to really. I mean, they could put a hurt on Wolverine, but I never really felt like he was in mortal danger from any of them.
Yeah, I mean, is that like the danger of like a Wolverine, where it's like, unless you like nerf that healing factor, it's like you really can't physically worry about him, but it's like, I guess you have to give him other things to lose, like, like true love or honor.
Right. Honor, yeah. That when they adapted some of this miniseries into that, I think was the second Wolverine movie.
Yeah.
They did that. They had him lose his healing factor in the movie.
Yeah.
I think right after he got to Japan or Madripoor or wherever they ended up setting that one.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like her father wanted like his healing his healing factor. He's like, I can transfer it. I want immortality. You want to die now. So
right. And I thought that was smart. It was like, okay, cool, because that raises the stakes here. He could actually get hurt. He could actually get killed. But I felt like maybe if Shingen had maybe an adamantium sword, let's say the honor sword was adamantium or something like that, and was actually capable of killing Wolverine, I thought that would have raised the stakes a little bit, especially in the final issue when they were having that climactic duel at the end. Which was great.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that duel. It was fantastic, especially the way that it was drawn by Frank. But I still felt like, okay, I know Wolverine's going to win. Like, I never once felt in any of these issues that Wolverine was in any serious peril.
Or again, like some kind of death trap, or it's like, well, how about if I drown you for a couple days, keep you underwater for a couple days? Maybe that'll kill you.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that could have bypassed the healing factor entirely. Yeah, but without that level of threat, it kind of became like kind of a character study, which was also good. Good, and I felt like at this point in time in 1982. 40 years ago, we needed to have that. We needed to have a little bit of in-depth character study on Wolverine because it hadn't been done, at least to that extent. And I liked the introduction of Yukio, too. I thought that was a great character to have in there. I felt like it was an important character to introduce in Wolverine's first story miniseries, and an important character all around that would end up coming back for years to come.
And again, I think that's what seems so weird about like these like the Wolverine stories like this one, like when he's in Japan and stuff. To me, like the Claremont stuff, it's like I think he wanted to do like a classic martial arts movie type thing, which is fine. And again, when like Miller does this with like Daredevil, cool, because Daredevil has no powers except like the senses. But it's like you want to do like a classic like martial arts movie thing, which is cool. But with Wolverine, it's like you got the healing factor, so it's like that kind of throws changes the tune there.
Right. And if he just had the healing factor, it would be one thing. But then he's also got the adamantium claws and stuff.
Yeah,
so
again, he has the healing factor and he has weapons. You can't disarm him.
Yeah. I mean, you can't chop his head off with those samurai swords. Even if you want to try hacking away, you're not going to get through that. You're not going to get through that bone unless you have an adamantium sword, which is what I thought. Having a weapon like that, and maybe having it be a surprise to Wolverine to have him go up against this sword and be like, oh, he can't do any damage to me with this, and then all of a sudden the adamantium slices into him, and he can tell that it's a different type of metal. He's like, oh, this actually might be more dangerous than I thought.
Well, you might have hit the nail on the head. If this was modern Frank Miller, they would be trying to like slice through that neck bone, and it's like there'd be blood all over the floor. His neck would be just a whole bloody mess with skin just hanging off, and
pulpy and nasty.
And the women would be showing more skin. Yeah, that'd be modern Frank Miller.
Totally. Fast forward another 10 years after this, and that would have been the result.
Although it's America, so maybe it's like, your daughter's a whore. Your henchwoman's a whore.
Your assassin's a whore.
I don't know, but the Hand are decent villains. I mean, they certainly the Hand certainly did a job on Wolverine.
They gave him quite a working over, you could say.
I wonder if my wrist is ready for that.
But no, I mean, I give this one the seal of approval, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Especially when you grade it on a curve, unlike the last 4 episodes.
Right? Yeah.
Compared to the last 4 episodes, this is this is Shakespeare.
Yes. And there was a great Chris Claremont line in issue number 3 that I wanted to read out because it was really good. Logan goes, perhaps that's the answer. The key isn't winning or losing. It's making the attempt. I may never be what I ought to be, want to be, but how will I know unless I try? Sure, it's scary, but what's the alternative? Stagnation, a safer, more terrible form of death, not of the body, but of the spirit. An animal knows what it is and accepts it. A man may know what he is, but he questions, he dreams, he strives, changes, and grows. I love that. That's great Chris Claremont stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I love this miniseries, even though, like I said, it doesn't feel like Wolverine was in any danger. It was still a good story.
Oh, yeah.
Great artwork, great script, great characters, and a great setting for Wolverine, which would influence the stuff that came later, which I actually like better. The Claremont and Buscema stuff is definitely my jam.
Oh, yeah,
When he goes to Madripoor and becomes Patch and hangs out with Tiger. I just love all that so much.
Oh, yeah, we even get an issue, too, with Joe Fixit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, so good.
I was trying to find...
Yeah, we'll cover that eventually, too.
So definitely.
Yeah.
I was trying to find the link. I saw an article this morning. It was about the Claremont run, and I'm trying to remember the exact phrasing, but they're like, how many times have the X-Men said in Claremont's run? It was something like, they would say something to someone, oh, you want to try to kill me? Well, try it. I forget the exact phrasing, but it was like, there must be a huge occurrence of X characters saying to enemies, yeah, you're going to kill me? Yeah, go ahead, try it.
Go ahead and try it. I love it. Well, like I said, if you write something for like 20 years solid, like there's bound to be a little bit of repetition that happens in there.
And it's so weird because it's like, you could see he like gets this, he does certain subplots, and it's like, yeah, I'll get that in like 5 years.
Right. What I loved was, and you'll probably remember this too, that when they were running Uncanny in the 80s, they were also doing Classic X-Men.
Yes.
Which was the reprints. And for a while I was collecting both at the same time. And it was great because when I was reading the contemporary Uncanny X-Men, I was reading the introductions to like the Shadow King and stuff like that. And then like maybe the next month or two after that, the Shadow King would come up in the regular X-Men book, the Uncanny title. So it was great because I could kind of get an introduction to some of these characters from the 70s.
Oh, yeah.
And then in the 80s, when Chris Claremont was still writing it, was bringing these characters back and making new plots with them. It was fantastic.
And I mean, Classic X-Men was good because it did reprint that stuff you probably hadn't read before, but then they started doing like original backup stories to like flesh out some of the stories. Yeah.
And that had some great artwork. I think John Bolton did a bunch of those, and they were gorgeous, those backups. And that was another good reason to get those Classic X-Men too, because it did have those. They were like little, like you said, they kind of fleshed out some of the stuff in between the stories, and filled in some of the like what happened when so and so went off and did this thing. Okay, well this is what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I read a lot of the older stuff is like Classic X-Men and not the name check, but for all the old Spider-Man stuff, Marvel Tales.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah, it was great because you got to get, for a while they were doing the Marvel team-ups.
Yeah, because I
printing those.
Yeah, I think it might have been like a full year, but for a while there, they were like doing like all Marvel team ups, and it was like, it's anytime Spider-Man teamed up with a mutant.
Yes, yeah, because in the very early 90s, there was that huge mutant boom thing.
Yes.
And that was the way for a while that they were advertising Spider-Man, the non-mutant superhero.
Yes.
To distinguish himself from the mutants. Mutants were huge in the 90s.
Oh yeah, there was a big run where it was just like, it's like Iceman, and then next to it would be Beast, and then like maybe Nightcrawler, Spider-Man and Nightcrawler, and it's like, wow.
Nightcrawler, yeah. And then all the X-Men, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then some of those Marvel Tales, like they would slap new covers on them on like the old story. So like sometimes you get like a Spider-Man from like the late 60s, early 70s, but it's like you have like a Todd McFarlane cover on it. Yeah.
Dr. Octopus Tentacle with Todd McFarlane. Yeah, I remember the death of Captain Stacy.
Yes,
Todd McFarlane.
Yes.
Yeah. There was some good stuff. I used to love those reprints. Those were so great for us kids that, like, because back then, I mean, there was no app to read the old comics.
Oh no, and there really wasn't like internet to like order the old comics either. You had to like track it down like back issue bins.
There weren't omnibus editions. There weren't trade paperbacks of this stuff. So to read these back issues, you either had to go like to back issue bins or collector like flea markets and things like that and try to luck out, or you'd have to like use your imagination and like read about what happened in the official Marvel handbook and be like, okay, well, this is when Captain Stacy died at the hands of Dr. Octopus.
Oh, just watch. I mean, when we do the next, we're doing another Wondercast special, kids. So ask Will about the official handbook of the Marvel Universe. He loves the official handbook. Yeah. There's one of those McFarlane covers.
Right there. Yes, look at that. Oh my god. 75 cents cover price, folks. Oh, I've still got that one.
A classic story, a new McFarlane cover, all for 75 cents.
That's right.
And that was before they started taxing them too, kids.
Yes. Yep. I remember when I started reading, I could get 5 or 6 comics a week with my allowance.
Yeah.
I was in hog heaven back in those days. Yeah.
That's what I said. When I started reading, it was right on the cusp of like 75 going to $1.
Yeah. The golden years.
Yes.
The golden years. Now they're like, what, $4 or $5 a pop? It's like, oh god, if the kids only knew.
I know. Oh my lord.
If the kids only knew.
That's the other great thing about going through back issue bins. Sorry to rub it in, Ray, but I mean, like that show I went to, most of the stuff I got was either $1 or 50 cents. So it was like the good old days, you know.
Exactly. And that's the thing, too. If you luck out, you can find some good deals like that where people are just looking to get rid of collections that they've either inherited or that somebody that they know is inherited and they're trying to get rid of them for them.
Or even if they're not even the best of shape, it's like if you just want a reader copy, It's just like, Yeah.
And let's be honest. I mean, come on, sometimes we've got to be practical and we've got to get the reader's copies because the near mint ones are expensive. Not ones that we necessarily need to have, especially if they're not like our favorite comic book or our favorite character. Why do you need to have the near mint if it doesn't mean that much to you?
And again, if it's that valuable, you get something that valuable, slab it.
Exactly. Yeah, spend the real money and slab it.
Oh yeah, I also, I mean, I knew they did this, but it also hit me because like my son was he's in the football and basketball cards now, so he did get a slabbed basketball card. So it's okay. It was something from the 90s. Trying to remember who it was, but I mean, it looks supposedly it's somewhat valuable. So I was like, oh yeah, they slap cards too. That's right.
Nice.
I wonder how much it costs to slap cards. Because I still have a bunch of like my DC and Marvel sets from the 90s, the cards.
Oh. How much those are worth?
I don't know. That's what I said. I wonder what it costs to like slab each individual card. Because I got
the 90s ones, I'm not sure. I don't have very many of those myself, actually.
Look at that, kids. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that. Look at that.
You might have a gold mine.
That's what I'm saying. Phil. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because these ones are in pretty good shape. Yeah.
Yeah. And you've got a ton of them.
I used to have more. Like they had like individual like Spider-Man and Ghost Rider and like Wolverine.
They had sets for a while, didn't they? And they were doing.
I did have some of those, and I don't know if I got rid of those ones, but I also got some DCs too, kids.
Oh yeah, nice. Yeah, DC was doing that for a while too. Yeah, you might have a couple of gold mines there, Phil, possibly.
The DC ones had holograms too, kids.
Oh yeah. Don't get rid of those. No. See, those are always big money. Like even like a lot of people might not remember the Ultraverse comics.
Oh yeah.
But I do, and I love the Ultraverse. And for a while the Ultraverse were doing hologram covers where the entire cover was a hologram. And those comics today aren't really worth a whole lot of money. If you look at them, you can still find a lot of them for $1 or so. But those hologram covers are still fetching a high price. So even the comics that nobody really cares about, if it has a hologram on it, the value automatically goes up.
I don't know if any. Death of Superman. I have a couple some of those.
I've got a couple of those.
All right. Who knows if this ever is going to be valuable, but I actually have a few cards for the Batman and Batman Forever movie.
Oh, yeah, Batman Forever. Oh, my God.
God, I wiped that from my mind. I didn't even remember I had this.
Yeah, you could definitely sell those.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'll probably get something for it. But I'm always like, I mean, at this point, I'm always like, if I just sit on these and just like, you know, wait till I'm dead and just like I told my kid, I'm like, you can have these when I'm gone. So, you know.
Yeah. Have fun with it.
If he plays if he plays the long game and waits another couple decades, those things might really be worth something.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've told my partner, I said, I've got the first appearance of Deadpool, I've got all this, I've got all that, and it's worth X amount of money, so if I pop off before you, you're welcome to all of it. Have fun selling it all.
I know my wife's like, what are we going to do with all these comic books when you're gone? I'm like, you two do whatever you want with them. Sell them, keep them, I don't care.
I was telling everybody, I said, turn them into a funeral pyre. Go down to the beach and get like a big pile of my favorite comic books and put my body right in the middle of it. Light it on fire and let the birds come and pick the bones clean. It'd be fantastic.
Where I was almost thinking, I mean, not to get too morbid, kids, but I'm like, buy myself like a nice little box for my ashes and just like tell them like, here, put some of my favorite comics in this box with my ashes and then just bury that somewhere or something, you know.
I love that. Spend
eternity with your favorite comics.
Yes, I love that.
Finally get a chance.
What's it that Mark Grunwald?
Yes. He was cremated, and his wish was to have his ashes mixed in with the ink that they printed in one of the runs of Squadron Supreme.
Squadron Supreme. Yes. That's what it was. Yes, I knew there was something like that. I love that so much.
So he's literally in his work, kids.
Yes,
because I remember I was all excited. I got like one of the trades of Squadron Supreme, and it had the like original intro in it. But at the bottom of the intro, it says, "This edition does not contain any ashes." I'm like, "God damn it!"
Oh no!
Because he is one of my all-time favorite creators. So I was like, "Man, I wish I had the ashes." I wonder how much that's worth if you have a book with Chris Claremont's or Mark Grunwald's ashes printed in them.
Look that up. Yeah. We should cover that one too at some point. Squadron Supreme.
Yes. I know that's another one. Will loves that too, so we might be able to get Will for that.
Yeah, we could do because that was 12 issues.
Yeah,
so we could do a whole month of that one.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, if we say Mark Grunwald, there's a good chance we could get Will.
We could do a whole year of just Mark Grunwald stuff.
I mean, that's how we met. I mean, I back in the day, I wanted to do a Quasar podcast, and I just threw it out to Twitter. I was like, "Who wants to join me?" And then him and Matt and it's so funny because Will like created like back in the 90s like a Quasar like website.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the Quantum Zone, and I'm like, I had looked at it in the late 90s. So when he was, when I first started talking to him, he's telling me about it. I'm like, I've been to that website. Yes, I didn't know who created it, but I was like, I've been to that website.
I love that.
I used to go to that in like the late 90s.
The early days of the internet.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
It's like fate brought us together.
That's fantastic. I love it when it works out that way.
I know. It just like fate brought me and Lilith together to terrorize the internet.
As it should be.
Exactly. All right, I'm bringing up the schedule here. All right, so where are we at? We are all right. Next week, kids. Yes, our second part of Miller May. We are going to cover Power Man and Iron Fist number 76 and Marvel 2-in-1 number 51.
Yes,
with Ben Grimm and a bunch of guest stars, which I think includes an Ionic Biscuit.
Oh yes, in his safari outfit.
Yes, which we'll be covering on our upcoming Wondercast.
Yes. Very excited about that.
Oh my god, that was like I read the Wonder Man issues already. That's the first time I'd read those. Because
It's good stuff,
yeah,
right?
Because Will goes, I haven't read those in so many years. I think he said he might have the original issues. I was like, oh, lucky.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was like, lucky.
Yeah, those are worth a pretty penny now.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, I told him, I said, if they're not worth something now, they may be when Wonder Man joins the MCU.
Yeah, definitely. Once that show premieres.
Yeah, because I don't have any of the Marvel premiere issues.
I don't either.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't get that one shot Wonder Man from the 80s.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that until fairly recently.
Yeah, me neither. Like I didn't for the longest time. I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it's so good. I love the artwork in that one. It's so cool.
That's in Kevich cover. Yeah,
yeah, love that cover too. If they do like a Wonder Man epic collection, when like maybe to time in time with the show coming out, I think that they should use that as the cover because it's so good.
Mm. That's what I should do. I should hang some Wonder Man covers and put it around that Jeff Johnson sketch.
Yeah.
Ray's like, yeah, take that Batman stuff down.
Take that Batman stuff down.
Oh, that's like the one Spider Cast. I was talking to him and Dave Finn, and Dave was like going on about that Spider-Man poster, and he's like, oh, I love that Spider-Man poster, and then Ray was like, yeah, he's got a lot of great stuff there. He's like, except for that Batman stuff thing.
Oh no, stuff.
He said to take that Batman light down. I'm like, no, how dare you?
No, it has to stay there.
Exactly. All right, and then in 2 weeks, we're going to get to one of Justin's first picks, New Mutants Annual 2.
Yes, featuring my girl Betsy Braddock.
Yes, and then we'll round out the month with one of
your picks.
Yes, Fantastic Four 265, and then 358 and 359. I wonder what those are about.
Yes, I wonder why. I love those ones too, by the way. I can't wait to talk about those.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that whole era of Fantastic Four is much loved by me. I love talking about it.
The start of something and the end of something. The deception.
That's right. The original Secret Invasion.
Oh. Johnny Storm got secret invaded. All right, kids, send us your thoughts on all of that. Send them on this Wolverine deal. Do you love it?
Yeah, let us know about your thoughts on Wolverine.
And when we start adding more Claremont X-Men to the schedule, what do you want to hear? What do you want to hear us review?
Yeah. If you have any requests.
Yeah. Come on, Ray. Send us your thoughts. Email us, CapesandLunatics@gmail.com, or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find all things Capes and Lunatics, videos, social media, merchandise, the Patreon. Please subscribe to our Patreon. Help us support this and join the Patreon elite like Justin over here.
Yes. Join me in the Patreon elite. You get all the perks and all the good stuff every month.
Early access to stuff, original. Oh my God, dude. Kids, you got to subscribe to Patreon now. 4 straight months of Loaf Hellfire, getting drunk and reviewing Heroes Reborn series by series. If that's not worth your price of admission for the year, I don't know what is.
No, I think this month you guys are doing an X-Files episode, right?
No, that's just for Salty and Petty.
That's for Salty and Petty.
Yeah, no, our Wonder
for the Patreon bonus episode
for the Patreon, and we're just the Wondercast is going to be that, but you get early access, kids, if you're on Patreon. But no, that Heroes Reborn stuff, that's going to have to be exclusive to Patreon because she is going to be so drunk and so sweary.
That needs to be uncensored.
Oh yeah, I can't hold her back on those. All right, so
I love that you're doing it for 4 months too. Oh my God,
four series, man. One of I think the Captain America is probably going to be the greatest because she's not the biggest fan of Captain America to begin with.
Right? Yeah, I know. And it's the worst Captain America ever. Oh my God.
Big titties and small feet. All right. So find all that hilarity and hijinks at tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. That's tubespace.io/Capes and Lunatics Podcast Network. All right. Justin, you join me here every week. You join me on We Are the Night.
The Batman podcast.
That promo brought to you by Ray. But you also talk Hulk and other things on other podcasts. So what are those podcasts? Where can they find them, Justin?
Over on Gamma Charge, the strongest podcast there is, which actually Phil was a guest on our most recent episode where we talked about a couple of issues of the classic Peter David run, guest starring Doctor Strange and Biscuit Namor.
My
favorite
Biscuit.
I believe that episode is entitled The Dark Hulk, and that is available now to listen to. That was great fun. But we're available twice a month over on Gamma Charge, and beyond that, you can find me and Russell with our good pal Ray over at Predator and Prey, a Yautja podcast, where we talk about everything to do with the Predator, including the brand new Marvel miniseries written by Ed Brisson. We had the great pleasure of talking to Ed recently and getting his thoughts on the series, which was great fun. And besides those, I'm still working on a couple of other projects, including The Lost Library of Legends, a comic book podcast dedicated to the unsung and undiscovered comic book gems of the last 40 to 50 years.
Ooh, nice. And any hints on what the first episode's going to be?
The first episode, I'm actually going to cover my favorite standalone comic book series of all time, which ran for 14 issues. It's a DC series, and that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil the surprise.
Oh, I like that teaser.
Yeah.
All right, so. Oh, yeah, and then if you're going to join us on Salty and Petty, right? You, and hopefully we'll get Russell, because I know we're going to do Transformers all the month of June.
Yes, we're going to be talking some Transformers, definitely.
I made sure we blocked out at least one episode to talk some comics, so we're going to have to get into those Marvel issues.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to be super fun. Absolutely. And we'll talk some of the animated stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Love it.
The new movie, yeah.
Yeah. That's going to be great.
All right, so. Thank you for joining us, kids. Again, next week, more Miller Madness with Power Man and Iron Fist 76 and Marvel 2-in-1 51.
That's right. Your mother's a whore!
Another cigar-smoking superhero, Ben Grimm.
Was anybody smoking a cigar in the Power Man and Iron Fist one?
I want to find out.
There's got to be at least somebody.
All right, kids. Join us next time. And remember, what he does isn't pretty. Well, I don't know. Good night. That outro wasn't pretty. All right.